I have probably more free time than I should. I have basically unlimited internet, I work from home, and I'm a giant nerd. Needless to say, I watch a lot of things online. Apart from movies, TV shows, random YouTubers, and cat videos, I like to watch as well a lot of reviews. A lot of these reviewers I'm actually friends with. Well, as much as you can be friends with someone via social media living in another country. And I'm absolutely astounded as the level of dedication these guys go into. As we close off the year of 2014, I thought it would only be fair for me to reflect and showcase 7 of the best reviews I found for this year. Yes, this is my opinion. No, I have not seen nor subscribed to every reviewer out there. Yes, you can totally disagree with me. No, you cannot wear my skin as a coat. While compiling this list, I had to give myself a little bit of a criteria. Firstly, the review must have been released this year. Secondly, the reviewer must have at least 3 episodes, so other people can go and check out more of their work. If you're a reviewer who has multiple shows, I would only count 1 in the countdown. It has to be of a high quality all around. This means if your camera work or editing is not as good as it could be, you might not have made the list. This is not the sole criteria, of course, but it did play a big part. And finally, it must be a review. Sketches and comedies, totally fine, but if it doesn't actually contribute to the review itself, it's not on the list. If at any point you'd like to skip ahead, feel free to click any of the buttons there. Number 7, Count Jackula from the Count Jackula Show, Trick or Treat review. Jack almost didn't make it on the list as the last review he put out was in February. It was okay, but compared to his I Spit on Your Graves reviews, it was just not as good. So he was going to be getting an honourable mention, until Halloween rolled around. This year we saw him review Trick or Treat, a fairly small but very well done Halloween movie. Jack's intercut of gags, analysis, and porn from the porn god! Whatever the hell that was, makes this review a treat to watch. This was also his debut on Channel Awesome, which was well deserved. Actually, I should probably get this out of the way right now. Some of the people on this list are on Tig, but they were recent acquisitions. I was watching them way before they got picked up. His reviews are very in-depth, but will not be for everyone. Not because they aren't good, but because some of the horror movies he reviews can have disturbing imagery, and he runs with it. Sometimes I get more scared of what he's saying than what's actually on the screen.
Dad, what are you doing in this movie?
Well, I like blood and pussy too, son.
Yeah, well, that's clearly not Mom, so what the fuck?
Well, sometimes she likes it when I bring someone home to share.
I'm not hearing this.
Nevertheless, a great reviewer who, if you aren't easily grossed out, you should totally check out. Number 6, Happy Viking from Frothy Pint of Metal, Tenga Cavalry. Everybody needs more metal in their life. Although, as a DJ and past music reviewer, I can understand that it's a bit difficult to get excited about the subject unless you have it coursing through your veins. However, Happy Viking manages to make it cool, with his witty wordplay that makes you stay by keeping your butt at bay with titillating awesomeness that is metal.
Through the songs of these big, strong, and long-in-the-dong Mongols going full force on horseback, hacking and attacking your eardrums with a wondrous rush and a thunderous crush, turning your brain to mush and your ass to dust.
Okay, maybe my wordplay is not quite as good as his. Nor my hair. Nor my drinking tolerance. Nor my life! But hey, there's a reason he got picked up by Channel Awesome and I didn't. I didn't apply. Joking aside, the review which secured his spot on my list was Tenga Cavalry. The band itself is freaking awesome. Imagine Oriental metal, throw in some clever My Little Pony jokes, add a little bit of biting humour, and you have some idea how awesome this review is. I will use terms which I'm sure he will appreciate. If you're unfamiliar with Happy Viking and not very much into metal, this is your gateway drug. It's not the screamo kind of band stereotyped with metal, and he's not a dull reviewer passionate about a subject which nobody else gets. He lives and breathes metal, but he makes sure that you, the audience, who may not be quite up to his standards, will still follow along and have fun. Plus, this. Number 5. Horror Guru from Blood-Spattered Cinemas, Slumber Party Massacre. I am not a horror buff, but I'd like to think of myself as an honorary gorehound every time I watch one of Josh's reviews. He makes the most blood-soaked films a treat to watch and presents it in such a comical way. On Twitter, he is such a nice guy and always willing to favourite your tweets. You watch, as soon as he realises he's in this review, he'll be favouriting it. His best review this year, which caught the attention of Channel Awesome, was Slumber Party Massacre. Now, unlike our previous entry of Count Jackula, who can make horror movies sound even scarier, Josh is like a big old teddy bear, dripping with blood.
Is that the title sequence we're going with? Okay, you're the boss. And
he gives us the education of blood, sex, slash, with a huge smile, heaps of genuine enthusiasm, and a generous serving of humour. Seriously, he is so non-threatening, I would consider letting my nephew watch this stuff.
Movie, the other half came in the form of an editor looking to make her way into the world of feature film directing.
Now again, despite how much fun his reviews are to watch, the subject matter is not going to appeal to some people. In his review, women are killed, blood is seen, and there are boobs, even if he does censor them. But if you wanted to see if you might like his stuff, then this is the review for you.
Holy shit, the Russians are back! Someone call Swayze!
oh, it was just the radio. It's okay. I'm okay. Motherfucking movie get me with a motherfucking jump scare and we're not even 2 goddamn minutes in yet. Mother of fucks, who does that?
Number 4, The Omega. What Went Right? Fraggle Rock and the Magic of the Microcosm. Omega used to run a review show years and years ago, and it was a lot of fun and had a really interesting storyline. But then one day it just disappeared. While she was still on social media and doing a podcast with Diamanda Hagen, I always hoped that one day she would come back to reviewing. Then in November last year, she started a review show called What Went Right, a show focused on children's television of the 80s and 90s and what positive impacts it had on our lives. The first debut was about the Sesame Street episode Farewell Mr. Hooper, where Mr. Hooper died and was explaining why this episode was so important.
Big Bird, don't you remember we told you? Mr. Hooper died. He's dead.
Oh, yeah. I remember. Well, I'll give it to him when he comes back.
Big Bird, Mr. Hooper's not coming back.
I cried like a baby. Not only was the source material very close to home, her analysis was amazing. If that episode had been done this year, she would have received my #1 spot. However, since the review had to be released this year, she earns a place on my list with another episode of What Went Right, Fraggle Rock.
The best kid shows of the 80s were those that tended to be highly educational without the heavy-handed preachy style that would develop by the end of the decade and unfortunately persist through the 90s.
As most of you are probably aware by now, I am a huge Jim Henson fan. But surprisingly, I'd never seen Fraggle Rock. Her review got me to get off my butt and go watch it, and it is amazing. I might not have needed a lot of convincing, but her analysis has allowed me to watch the show with new eyes.
The Caves, home to the Merry Fraggles and Industrious Doozers, teem with all manner of fantastic life, colors, experiences, and adventures. On the other side, nothing exists beyond the garden. Places and people in the Gorg Kingdom are mentioned but never shown, making the Gorgs themselves unreliable narrators of their own history. They are possibly the last of a once populous people, representing the stagnation of traditionalism.
In a world where us reviewers pick apart everything that is wrong with things from our childhood, What Went Right reminds us that things may not have been perfect, but sometimes when we take off the nostalgic goggles, they look just as good in the light.
Just past Doc's front door is the real world of humans, that which the Fraggles call outer space. One Fraggle, Gobo's Uncle Traveling Matt, has devoted himself to exploring this world and reporting back his findings on the humans, or silly creatures, as the Fraggles call us.
Number 3, The Unusual Suspect, the Stuart Little Review. Turn the sarcasm meter up to 11, add in amazing editing and special effects skills, throw in some childhood movies, and you have some idea what you'll be watching when you turn on The Unusual Suspect.
It's today. It's always today, George. But this is the day. It's today. It's today.
His work on the Harry Potter films and Lord of the Rings trilogy were an absolute treat to watch. And don't get me started on his Spider-Man reviews. His jokes are amazing, and to get an idea you should all watch the review Stuart Little.
Okay, question for you. What do you get when you mix Dr. Gregory House, Marty McFly, Thelma, Timon from The Lion King, that kid from Jerry Maguire, put them all in a blender, push the button, mix them together? You'd probably get a shitload of blood and guts. But if it was a magic blender that could make movies, you'd get the 1999 family adventure Stuart Little.
Now I'm not gonna lie, I didn't ever really like this movie, but his analysis of it had me on the floor in stitches.
Why would I turn it off? It's my favorite show.
That's funny! That's funny! Snowbell, you can't leave me!
Good God, he's leaving Stuart to die? Again, listen to the score. This funky sax music is totally distracting me from how sadistic this scene is. He's leaving him a drowning death. Seriously, watch this scene with different music and tell me this isn't fucked up.
Why would I turn it off? It's my favorite show.
Snowbell, you can't leave me!
What also put him in the top 3 is his editing. He puts himself into the movies he reviews for comedy bits, and the payoff is hilarious. His reviews are, however, a bit long, averaging between 30 to 40 minutes, but I can promise you, you will be thoroughly entertained for that entire time. Give him a watch.
Check out the horrifying emotional truth.
You have an empty space. That's so sad.
Okay, before I go into our number 2 spot, a little backstory is needed. Back in 2013, I wrote an article about this reviewer who I always found his interactions, at least with me, very rude and off-putting. After I posted this article on social media, it kind of exploded. Though because of that, he responded, and you know what? Afterwards, I thought he took the time to respond, maybe he isn't as bad as I thought. Then he proceeded to block me on Twitter.
Fuck you, fuck you.
There was a chain reaction with other people, which was the main reason I got out of reviewing for a while. I don't talk to him, he doesn't talk to me, but you know, through all that, I always found his reviews very analytical and very good. I don't watch his reviews anymore, but there were 3 videos recently released this year with one of my favourite reviewers, Tony Goldmark. And despite my personal feelings about the guy, I am nothing if not fair. And damn it all, he did deserve the number 2 spot. Number 2, Octane Citizen from Brows Held High, Beauty and the Beast. It's a musical review featuring half the reviewerverse with people who can actually sing.
Look, there he goes, he thinks he's smart or something. A most pretentious cinephile.
With a condescending gaze
And an allergy to praise. What a brows held high falutin' prick that Kyle.
It sucks. It blows.
It's
bad. It's worse. It's uber ball. It's dumb.
It's weird.
It's got Ben Affleck. It delves into a tortured artist's soul.
Not only that, but it's comparing Disney's Beauty and the Beast to the original source material by Gusteau, from which it's based on.
The film opens with this lovely bucolic scene of, animal cruelty.
Well, it's an art movie. Shocked it took him this long.
Of course, I wouldn't be watching it if Tony hadn't been involved, because his humour is an absolute treat to watch.
Want cheeseburger? You can has cheeseburger.
Will you please stay on topic?
This is on topic. The Disney Beast was way more effectively terrifying.
He wasn't just inhuman, he was in every animal. That came out wrong. He was a unique hybrid, part lion, part wolf, part bear, part boar, part buffalo, and part gorilla, with the horns of a bison, the eyes of a human,
and the ears of a cow.
Snooty arthouse film needs a snooty reviewer. Disney films need a Disney reviewer. Add these two together and it's like watching fireworks. The writing was tight, the editing was tight, the songs were memorable, and the analysis was fantastic. 3 parts to 1 review, totaling over an hour. It's very, very good. As much as I hate to admit it, Kyle really does know his stuff, and I actually learned something.
Isn't that beautiful?
It might be if I hadn't already ridden the Haunted Mansion 90 billion times.
The what?
The Haunted Mansion! Those arm candelabras are from the Haunted Mansion. The living statue busts are from the Haunted Mansion. This couldn't be more like the Haunted Mansion if Paul Frees himself challenged us to find a way out! Lord knows I'm trying.
Wouldn't it make more sense that the Haunted Mansion was trying to be like Cocteau's film? I mean, this isn't an unpopular movie, or an uninfluential one. Lots of mid-20th century Gothic fiction borrowed from it.
If you haven't seen these two in action, this is the review you need to check out. And I'm not gonna lie, I've been singing Kill the Mouse in the shower for the past 2 months.
No one plays like Cocteau, spins a phrase like Cocteau, fills your gaze with amazing ballets like Cocteau.
And for that he gets critics ejaculating.
Don't judge my kinks or Cocteau.
He's dull and weird, he's overwrought.
But look at this petrified fountain of thought.
Now before we get into the #1 spot, a couple of honourable mentions. Tony Goldmark's some jerk with a camera. He's not really a jerk. In fact, like I said before, he is one of the funniest guys I know. I would have loved to put him in this countdown, but unfortunately the only reviews he released this year were part of a retrospective and they were right at the very beginning. That being said though, you still should totally check him out.
This is gonna be painful, isn't it? Well, I survived being raped by It's a Small World twice, didn't I? How bad could this possibly be?
Ursa from Stuff You Like. I mean, who doesn't like stuff? Who doesn't like nerdy stuff? Jill's reviews are short and sweet, and if you can spare 10 minutes, it's definitely worth checking out.
The Lion Universe TM, and yeah, I'll stop saying that in a minute, but it's still funny, is a bunch of books written by a husband-wife couple called Steve Miller and Sharon Lee.
Isle of Rangoon. The riffs are amazing, but I personally will always have a fondness for the Muppet Wish Day reviews. Mainly because I'm in them, and help write them. But even if I wasn't completely biased, come on, it's puppets reviewing Muppets involving half the reviewiverse. What's not to love? I'm married.
What?
Yeah, see?
Hi!
Awkward. No kidding. Popcorn?
Tyler the Whedon fan. Josh Whedon, rabid fanboy. That's what you get with this sort of stuff.
Welcome back to the wonderful world of Buffy.
Yeah, because we couldn't wait for you to analyze every single scene of another episode. How did we survive?
And finally, Diamanda Hagen. The reviews are good. The subject material will probably give you nightmares for the rest of your life. Plus, I kind of had to include her in the show because, you know, she'll kill me otherwise.
Oh, Jesus!
I could really find a use for it.
No, don't tease my balls again! Oh, Jesus!
And the #1 spot goes to David Rose from Happy Dragon Pictures. The DVD shelf goes Hawaiian. Okay, David Rose has earned the #1 spot, and I'll tell you why. Because if you take every single reviewer you've ever had out of every media, he still blows them away. If you go and watch any of his DVD shelf movie reviews, even if you hate the movie, by the end of it you will be considering giving it another go. He does not do negative reviews. He not only goes into the making, the background, and the DVD features itself, but his animation, graphics, production quality, and analysis feels like it should be on a mainstream TV channel.
The Descendants would go on to receive a total of 5 Oscar nominations and win the award for Best Adapted Screenplay. But accolades aside, I know for me personally, The Descendants was easily one of the best films I remember seeing in 2011. Not only for its perfect blend of drama and dark comedy, but also because of how much of a truly immersive Hawaiian experience it is.
While I love all the reviewers I've mentioned so far, they all thrive on an online platform. David's show is the only one I think could survive mainstream television. Not only does he give each film loving attention, but he also goes into the history of the place and why it was so influential. After all the analysis is done, he decides to go on a food tour and show off the places to eat on the island. And it's so good!
Damn, they weren't kidding. 3 14-inch pancakes that are so thick they're almost like 3 actual cakes. Loco done right, then there's no place that does it much better than the Hukilau Cafe, located on the windward side in Laie. Also, nothing really compares to the added bite and extra burst of pure sweetness that comes with eating a slice of locally grown, freshly picked Hawaiian pineapple.
Seriously, if you are booking a trip to Hawaii after watching this episode, you're either poor like me, or you have no soul. Like me. I will give 2 warnings though regarding this review. The first is the 10-minute intro. This is for fans of the show, and it is quite funny, setting up what has gone before and foreshadowing the end of the episode. It isn't bad, but if you haven't seen this show before, you might want to start with the previous episode just so you can get a bit of an idea of what's going on. Otherwise, you just have to be patient. The second thing is his reviews are long, usually going between 45 and 60 minutes. This review goes on for a full hour and 47 minutes. You will not be bored, as when watching his stuff it goes by very quickly, but it is not something you can put on and watch quickly in the background. His reviews are best when you decide to sit down and watch something good, just like you would with a movie. You would not scull a fine wine, you would savor the experience. And as such, the same must be said of his reviews. Seriously, if you only check out one review out of this list, make sure it's David's.
Such as Fumi's Kahuku Shrimp, a popular seafood stop where you can catch yourself a heaping portion of delicious and massive fried jumbo shrimp. Or you could drive in to Honolulu's famous Rainbow Drive-In for a succulent fried pork cutlet smothered in brown gravy. However, it can't be denied that you haven't truly had lunch in Hawaii until you've tried a Hawaiian plate lunch, another tasty local staple that's both quick and inexpensive.
Get in my belly!
Well guys, thank you very much for watching my review of the reviews. And definitely be sure to go check out all the people I've mentioned. The links are in the description. Remember again, if I didn't mention you, that doesn't mean I don't like you, and it doesn't mean I'm not watching your stuff. But now's your chance. If you guys have a reviewer that you think should really get some more attention, or if maybe you are that reviewer that you'd like to do a bit of a plug, leave a comment in the YouTube video below. I'll check some of these guys out if I haven't seen them before, and hopefully next year we can make an even bigger list. Now if you excuse me, I should really get up and walk about. I've been in this chair for almost 3 days. Oh. Oh. Oh.